for communication and leadership skills development. This program works if you work at it. Tonight, you're going to see an example of how you can fit in the ToastMasters program and work it to your own advantage in real time where you are in your career, in your life, and your business.
Thought for today is, there is a saying that speech is silver, and silence is golden. But when you're engaged in a struggle, the opposite is true. That speaking out is golden, and silence is defeat. Word for today, I was drafted to do this, but here we go, is compunction. The meaning of compunction is remorse, feeling uneasy after having something. For example, I'll give a sentence. Martina experienced no compunction over the way she treated the pilot, as she found his conservative nature extremely annoying. Again, the word for today is compunction. So please make sure you come up here, you got to use the word what?
Compunction. The tale of Lover's Leap goes way back into 1760, thereabouts. The story goes that there was an Indian chief that had married a white woman, and they had a daughter. She was considered an Indian princess. This Indian princess was not to marry just anybody. She was sent to marry one of the officers from the fort because the chief thought this would be really good for the tribe. Little did he know that his Indian princess was in love with a local hunter named Jack Chadwick. He went to the chief and he said, "I love your daughter. Please allow me to marry her." The chief says, "Well, yes, you can marry my daughter. Absolutely, bring me your silver." But over here, he says, "Oh, I know I told Jack he could marry my daughter, but I'm still going to give her to the officer at the fort because that's going to be really good for the tribe." Jack found this out about this double cross that the chief had no compunction about. Jack found out about the double cross, went to the chief and said, "Chief, you promised me that your daughter and I could marry. I'm giving you the silver from my mine." The chief said, "I don't care," and attacked Jack with a club. They fight. The rock gets thrown, hits the chief in the head, kills him. The daughter, the princess, "Oh my gosh, you've killed my father, the chief." The tribe comes after them. They run away from the tribe and jump hand in hand off of Lover's Leap. I think that this is the way it probably happened, although we have no way to go back and verify. But I think that our 17th or 18th century Romeo and Juliet would have jumped from Lover's Leap hand in hand, being chased by the tribe. Mr. Toastmaster.
First of all, let me express my compunction for being tardy tonight. Meant to get here on time, but it was difficult to do that. Inspirational speeches so far, nevertheless. Have you ever wondered what the phrase "keeping up with the Joneses" really means? It means keeping up with your social peers through conspicuous consumption. The phrase was popularized when a comic strip of the same name was created by cartoonist Arthur Moment way back in 1917. The Joneses of the title were neighbors of the main characters, but they were never actually seen. Now there's your first problem in keeping up with the Joneses. We don't ever see them. This notion of keeping up with the Joneses is all about your standard of living in relation to your peers. It can get you into the kinds of conspicuous consumption that only the Madoffs of the world can sustain. And they only sustained it for as long as they did because they did what any self-respecting social climber would do. They became the Joneses' investment banker and made off with their savings. I would argue that 5 of the 7 deadly sins are behind any effort to keep up with the Joneses. Greed, pride, lust, envy, and gluttony. These things drive this whole notion of keeping up with the Joneses. And I would argue that one has to be very much aware of these things and try to avoid them. At the end of the day, trying to keep up with the Joneses is a recipe for unhappiness, if not disaster. So don't do it. In fact, since the recession hit a few years ago, the Joneses have gone broke. And so have most of the people who were trying to keep up with them. In the final analysis, what is the moral of my speech? It is simply be yourself and live within your means. If not, then at least convince the people you aspire to live like that you should invest their money for them. Mr. Toastmaster.
I hope that you will be able to speak without compunction. That you will be able to approach every opportunity to speak as an opportunity to literally change the world. And I believe that that is the only reason to give a speech, to change the world. Powerful speakers personified, which are the 8 characteristics of powerful speakers. Powerful speakers are plausible. They are passionate about their topics. They are persuasive. They are prepared. They are positive. They are poised and perceptive. I would also have to argue they are peacemaking. In our inner jungle, in our time where there's often conflict, you have people who arise like Abraham Lincoln, Martin Luther King, Winston Churchill, others who enter into very difficult situations and inspire courage and inspire people to come together. Nelson Mandela, coming together and encouraging peace between warring factions. All of these are aspects of powerful speakers, and this is you. I envision you being one of these powerful speakers, embodying these characteristics. You might say, I've heard of these before. I've done these before. Well, certainly, because these are the same things that powerful speakers have been doing throughout the generations. And here at GoPro, you can learn these practices. You can engage in these practices and you can grow so that every time you speak, you indeed can change the world. Mr. Toastmaster.
I'm so glad. Thank you so much. And again, I'm so excited about our interest and participation. We're a very supportive group, aren't we? Yes. We can make this club be what we want it to be and make it, beneficial for us wherever we are. So we're open to suggestions, please. Email us. You'll see all our emails in the email list. So feel free to connect with anybody you feel you have a connection with. You need a mentor, we can assign a mentor. All right. If there's no other questions, we'll adjourn for the night.
Did everyone sign?